What's up, you guys? We're here for our weekly anchor message where we are getting like our spiritual assignments for the week. We're using the Wild Unknown Archetypes and the Mystical Moments Tarot. First card out is Womb, followed by the Sustainer, followed by the Mountain, and underneath the Womb we have Nine of Wands. Underneath the Sustainer we have the Ace of Swords. Underneath the Mountain, we have Four of Pentacles. And then at the bottom of the reading, we had Four of Swords come out with the Queen of Wands as some bonus cards to round off the reading. So I'm going to let you guys listen to the audio really fast so you can see the layout of the cards, and then we will come back and unpack. We are in the womb of creation, being shaped, sustained, and molded by the Creator. It feels as though we are up against mountains, but it is within the mountain that we are sheltered and kept. We push against the old identities and patterns, an old outdated consciousness, and bear down through the labor pains of a new reality being birthed. It feels like it's ripping us apart. That's why it's vital this week that we put our trust in the Creator's mercy and goodness. This trust cultivates our inner peace, which keeps our connection to that force of goodness and protection strong. It is fear, hatred, and division that sever that connection. When the Israelites had peace and unity, they experienced miracles. When they fell into negativity and division, they experienced curses. The Israelites represent each of us on our sojourn through this life. The deeper we ground ourselves through our relationship, connection, and likeness with God, the more sustaining our inner peace and rest becomes, regardless of the circumstances. When we practice trust in God and God alone, we surround ourselves more and more in the light of mercy and protection. We are here to be vessels of the light, to illuminate dark places. All right, so the womb of creation with Nine of Wands. So we are like launching into a new timeline. The story is finally starting. We were in like a limbo there for about 2 years after the deconstruction of the former self, the former life, right? The former us, the Netflix series, had come to its completion. We were sort of in a limbo state for like 2 years as things were transitioning and forming and recalculating. And now it's like we are at the beginning of a new start. And I feel like this week we are faced with a sort of pressure that tests our trust. We're being asked to surrender to the unknown, surrender to the challenge, and embrace the fact that we have to just face where we're at this moment and embrace the opportunity to show up in any way that we can, the way that we're being asked to by life. What is life asking us to give to it this week, right? And so there's something here where we are breaking old patterns. The Nine of Wands is about overcoming your struggle, almost being at the finish line, overcoming old belief systems, limiting beliefs, fears, breaking negative thought patterns, behavioral patterns, energetic patterns, breaking the curses of the generations, doing that root work. So it's like when you are like in the final, bits of the battle with this thing. So the 9 is like kind of facing off at the conclusion, at the completion, at the crescendo. And like, look at this woman. I always like really appreciate this imagery for this card too, because if you've ever been in the woods and you've gone off the path to go investigate something whimsical, you may have been caught in like the thorn bushes that grow out in the forest. There's like these wild thorn bushes that you're like, there should be roses on them. There's not. They're just thorn patches. And it can be, you can kind of get in a panic because you can all of a sudden find yourself surrounded by them, and they're all, your clothes are stuck, they're scratching at your skin. But you can't just sit there and wait. You have to just tough it out and get yourself out of the mess that you've gotten in, right? And that's very much the same. It's like we have figured out that the path that we were on doesn't really take us to where we want to go anymore. And so we have found our, the last couple of years may have felt like we've been sort of lost in the forest and stuck amidst the thorn bushes and trying to figure out, how do I get out of this mess? Like, where do I go from here? How do I get back on the path, right? And so as we kind of overcome these last challenges and wrap these things up and face these fears and identify these patterns, and we're purging those out of our life and our identity, and we're reprogramming, and we're moving forward, and we're adopting new perspectives, new attitudes, new beliefs, new behaviors, new approaches to things. And so because of that, it's like all the change that we do, we've learned, and we talk about on this channel, when we do that self-sacrifice, we break open this potential, this energy that is then fuel for our new beginning. It's like all of the effort that we've put in the past to other things, that all the heart and the blood and the sweat and the tears that we've put into things that maybe haven't come to fruition. It's like they get transferred over into this new beginning. So all the effort that we're making to change and to grow and to overcome our lesser nature, to overcome our evil inclination, to overcome our fear and our laziness and our overwhelm, it is actually adding so much. It's like fertilizing the seed that is now growing. And so this week, this pressure that we're feeling, it's almost like the contractions and the labor pains of what we're going into labor, birthing in this new beginning. And so we're pushing, and we're pushing up against this pressure, right? That's releasing this new beginning. When our soul is like divided into two parts of light. There is the inner light, and that's already the growth and the healing and the awakening that we've already experienced. That's the light that is revealed and integrated into our soul. I can't wait to get a new screen protector, guys, because this glare is killing me, and I'm sure it is you, but I'm sure you can see it. It's driving me crazy, so I'm sorry. 2026 prediction series is for sale. I will use the profits from that to buy the screen cover. So, to get back on track. So we overcome our lower nature. And sorry, the glare distracted me so much that I've thrown myself off. Oh yeah, so we're birthing through this new reality. And so the inner light that's already been revealed, that's the part of us that protects us, that is the potential and the ideas that are coming through. It's that the talent that is magnified, and the light that we are emitting, and the blessings that flow through us, and the goodness and the ways that we prosper, right? That's our inner light that's showing. It's like the light that we've already learned that's being revealed through our efforts and our good works and miracles that happen in our life and blessings that we experience. Our surrounding light of our soul is the light that wants to be revealed but hasn't been embodied yet. And so that surrounding light, it puts pressure on us And that is evolutionary pressure that creates the necessity for us to grow and expand and to become stronger and more resilient and better. And so that surrounding light, when it does put that pressure on, that is the pressure that we feel in our life when life's circumstances start putting pressure on us. The pressure, a lot of times we just cave underneath it and we get obsessed over the discomfort, and then we bemoan and we obsess over our anxiety and I'm so stressed out and all this and that and that. Well, truly successful people, the difference between the average person and the truly successful person is when they start feeling that pressure bearing down on them, they get to work and they start problem solving, and they start proactively meeting that pressure to navigate the challenge. It's like turns into a fire under their ass. Whereas, if a lesser person or an average person or a less aware or conscious or a less disciplined person or less experienced, might feel that pressure and just become incapacitated by it and go into freeze mode and not know how to handle it or how to navigate it, right? So we are, I think, feeling that surrounding light and that pressure this week, but we're really ready to rise up to the next level. And what is helping us handle that pressure and navigate that pressure with grace and with mercy is these two cards are explaining this. The understanding that the Creator and the Creator alone, God and God alone, is our sustainer, and we will be protected, we will be sustained. And if it is our time to go, or it is our destiny to be, in here or there, that is going to be in God's hands, but we're going to do the best we can to show up and to bring our part and to bring our best. But ultimately, we have to realize that it's like King David said, "Lest the Lord keep your house, your labor is in vain." Now, a lot of people hear that and they use that as an excuse to be passive and spiritually lazy and just leave it up to the miracle to come save them. And that's not what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to be servants of God, showing up, asking what we can give, what we can do, what effort we can make. Now, the miracles don't come by our own effort, but so the more that we understand that through, God is our provider and protector. And when we can understand that beyond an intellectual idea, but when we can know that through experience, it sets us free and liberates us, because all of the intimidation factors of life and the fearful messages that we see, from anything from pharmaceutical commercials, everything in life is just inundating us with pressure, with intimidation, with wanting us to believe that we are at the mercy of the corporation and the organization and the authority figure, and they're the ones that are going to be providing or taking away. It's if we see through that illusion and know that God will send manna for the day, that everything that has been shaped and created is in God's hands, that knowing, that deep understanding, that deep faith, that faith beyond reason, beyond logic, is called certainty or emunah. Now, this isn't the kind of certainty when people say the enemy of faith is certainty. That's different certainty. They're talking about people who are so sure they're right that they don't have any openness for deeper probing or understanding or deeper interpretation, right? It's like an arrogance of, I know, you can't tell me anything kind of thing. The certainty we're talking about when it comes to faith, emunah, is the fact that you see that you're okay, it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's coming from a place of, I know that I can only do so much and I'm just a human being, but the Creator is above me and gives me my life force, gives me my purpose, gives me everything that I'm capable of doing, and every resource that comes through my hands is sent to me through the Creator. And ultimately, I can go off by myself in my big human britches with my big human suspenders, and I can get all the resources myself, and I can get all the planning done, and I can execute something perfectly, and it can still fail if it is not blessed and touched by the Creator. Or the failure might be the blessing. It might be a blessing in disguise. The failure might be the gift, and you didn't realize that. So we also don't have the full scope. So when we truly realize, like when I was a freelancer in production, and I would have like less than $10 in the bank with rent due, looking for gigs, waiting for checks to come in the mail. I had no idea when they're showing up. That is when I truly learned from experience, with my own firsthand experience, that the Creator will provide and will not leave me wanting. And it was sometimes down to the very little wire, but being that close to the edge and then having those like miraculous things come through, we weren't relying on the miracle. I was still going and making an effort and doing everything that I could. But in the end, God had me going through those uncertain and very thin times, so I could see, okay, you can be on the brink of disaster, on the brink of ruin, and God can come in an instant, and everything can change in a matter of seconds. And so that, when I started, like whenever I would get into a panic attack about money, and I would start feeling that heat and that fire going through my veins and through my nervous system, almost like feeling almost like fibromyalgia, like it's like a full body pain and full like physical expression of hysteria inside of you. When I start feeling that, I would start ministering to myself about how God is my provider, and He has never left me forsaken, and I will have provision, and I will be taken care of. Like something would come through immediately. I would in minutes or hours get a call. Or I remember having like unexpected like refund checks sent to me from like insurance, because I didn't like use any of my insurance. Like I didn't need any health stuff that year. So it was just like several $100s coming from like Cigna, or Humana. Like miraculous things that were totally unexpected. But I didn't sit back banking on the miracle. I gave my effort and my all. But what happened was, as soon as I could switch and start to feel that inner peace and that inner calm, that's when the solution would come through. When the fear was still had a hold of me, I would still be in the dark. No answer would come. But when I would sit in that prayer and I would shift my faith and my focus onto God's goodness and gratitude and appreciation for the fact that I have been through many things in my life, but I have come through all of them, then when I started feeling the inner peace within, that's when the miracles would happen. And that's when I would get like instant clarity. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, like sometimes like a producer would call me like out of the blue within like an hour and want to book me for a gig. Sometimes it would be even a miracle like, are you available tomorrow? We're paying you the day of. Like, oh my God. Like, yeah, sure, I'm available last minute. Absolutely. That right there though, when you start to get into that inner peace, that's when the clarity comes through. That's when the answers come through. That's when you can hear the voice of inner guidance. Not when you're in a reactive state of reflexive responses to being triggered, but when you pause and you separate from that and you wait in peace and calmness, and then the answer comes. So we have the sustainer here. So when we really understand that, not just intellectually, but within our bones, that the Creator is our maker, is our sustainer, and that is all. Like we can do the best we can, but ultimately at the end of the day, like that's all we have to guarantee us. We have illusion of control, but we're not in control, right? We do what we have control over, which is cultivate a mindset and an attitude and a response system that, that isn't reactive, right? That doesn't cause more damage. Our own inner response system and our outer response system, this is all we have control over, right? So we do what we can. But when we have that revelation, it really sets in. It gives us this clarity and this inner focus and this sharpness and this mental power, this power of the consciousness, the power of mind over matter, or of, having that mastery over the thought realm. Right? So we have clarity, we have answers, we have the key to get out of the mess and into a more secure situation. And so again, these challenges and this pressure this week, I mean, look at world events right now. Look at not only things that are going on at home in the US, but abroad. I mean, no one is getting out of this without the pressure this week. We are all feeling it. I mean, even everybody at work was just like, I just feel so tired. I feel so weakened in my body. And I'm like, I think it's just, we're just trying to process everything that's happening. And it's just overload to our system. And so it feels like we're up against mountains, right? And it feels like, oh my gosh, like when you're standing in front of a mountain as a person, as a little tiny person, and if you've ever looked at like a big mountain, like the Rocky Mountains or the Alps, you're just so humbled because they're so enormous. And you think about being one little person trying to traverse those mountains and the difficulty and the challenge and the threats that are there, right? This is what we feel like we're up against, but actually the faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And we are actually in the mountain here. We are guarded and protected by the mountain. The mountain is God, right? That's our security. In one of the Psalms, I think it's Psalms 30, David says, something along the lines of like, when I am, like he talks about when he feels confident and sure of himself, he feels like a mountain. But when God turns his face on him, he's terrified, right? I'm a mountain of strength and security, but turn your face from me, Adonai, and I am terrified, right? I am shook. And so what do we have here? We have the Four of Pentacles with the mountain. Four of Pentacles is about safety and security. It can be about building stability and building security. So building your house upon the rock. The wise man builds his house upon the rock, meaning the wise man builds his life and is directed and encouraged and sustained by his faith. His faith in the Creator, his relationship with the Creator. And the stronger the relationship we have with the Creator, the closer we are with the Creator, and the more we bear likeness to the virtue of the Creator, the closer we are, the more protection we have, the stronger that connection, the more the sustenance comes through. It's almost like an umbilical cord. So you have this character here in the Four of Pentacles, which in a positive light, the Four of Pentacles represents stability and security and safety. But in the negative sense, it can be a sense of hypervigilance and control and being like blocked off and locked up, right? And being locked out of your bigger vision because you're holding on so much to this small perspective of what you think the reality should be, right? So we can't really control anything, right? And so again, it's so liberating when we're like, lest the Lord keep my house, my labor is in vain. I can sit here and holding my house in my arms like this, but unless like God takes care of it, someone can just jump this fence and take that right out of her hands, right? So the more we can lean into that trust whilst also still being proactive and owning our responsibility in life. Like our attitude shouldn't be, what is God going to give to me? What's life going to give to me? How is God going to bless me? It should be, God, how can I serve you to bless the world? How can I serve you to be a blessing to others? How can I show up in my life and own my part in this and work hard and be a good model and reflection of you and of your virtue, right? Not, I'm going to passively wait for everything to happen to me, and if it happens, great. If not, then I guess that was just meant to be. Like, we are supposed to develop ourselves and to be proactive, right? So it's a combination, it's a balance of knowing that without the blessing of the Creator, without the life force that we're given, we're really ineffective. But also, the angels, God, the light can't be channeled through without human beings to channel it through. So when we look at the world and we see all the good and the evil in it, like, we can't really throw the blame out because it was human beings that channeled those things through. So if we don't like the evil that we're seeing, we can't really blame God for what's going on because it's been evil hands that have done those deeds. It's been people that have channeled that evil through, right? There's good influence also, but we have to choose, right? And unfortunately, we're all stuck in this realm together. So we have to kind of work things out amongst each other, right? And so when we understand that we are in the mountain, that God is our mountain, God is our shelter, God is our shield and our security, then that can really bring us into that state of God's rest, that inner peace, where we can rest in knowing that we will weather the storm and we will get to the other side of this. And so, this is also a card that talks about prayer practice and mindfulness and taking a rest and meditating. And I think that it would be good for us to integrate these practices in, making sure that we're taking our good care of ourselves, getting the rest that we need when we're emotionally exhausted, or taking a minute to go meditate and get your mindset right. Have a practice of prayer that you bring into your morning to start your day, and then at the end of the day to go to bed and finish your day with. But in the middle of the day, I like to make that my casual prayer, like where I'm just praying and talking to God about things all day long. And I think that really helps me, move through the world with more grace than I would if I didn't, right? And so, like we were talking about before, the more at peace we are and the more like we feel that God is taking care of us, then that is the reality that will be reflected. We learned that the Spirit of God, hold on, let me try to say this, the Shina, there's like a hidden in there, that is the Spirit of God that comes in and hovers over a people or a person and protects and provides and brings the sustenance and brings the joy and brings the fulfillment and prosperity. But it can only draw near what it shares affinity with, what it bears vibrational likeness with. And so the Bible talks about this, that the when people were suffering, like for instance, when Jacob was grieving the loss of Joseph, his son, and he thought Joseph was dead, he was in deep sorrow and mourning. And then it was like the Spirit of God wasn't with Joseph during those years. He was experiencing hardship and loss and poverty. And it was when Joseph and Jacob were reunited that the joy returned back to Jacob, but all of his house was restored and everything that he had lost came back to him. But it was like during that time, even though he was justifiably grieving, there was no vibrational affinity with the Holy Spirit to draw that in, right? So if you want to be, a magnet for the Spirit of God, then you've got to be emanating that light. And so that's why it's up to us to have that discipline to try to choose to arm ourselves with tools and resources to do our best to generate more happiness, more joy. It's not really even happiness, because happiness is so circumstantial. It's like the effect of whatever just happened, right? But joy is what we have to build within us, because regardless of whether or not we're sad in the moment, we can still emanate a deep and sustaining joy from within. And what that looks like is you're at the funeral for the person that you love, and you still have kindness to share with others, and you still have love to share with others, and comfort to give others, and maybe even you find a moment to point something out that's funny and you help people laugh in that moment. Like I've been there. I've been at my brother's funeral and my best friend's funeral, and still in that moment found a moment of laughter or of joy, even amidst the deepest sorrows. So this isn't empty talk. This is lived in experience. This is in the moment, real life, knowing that this is possible. So again, when we can reconnect with that, with the light, right? When we can have that inner rest and that inner peace, then that makes us an even brighter beacon of the light to be shown through. And the whole point of our sojourn through this lifetime, through these lifetimes, is so that we can refine ourselves as a better vessel to emanate the light in this world, to share the light with this world, to be a force of sharing and goodness. So, and the world needs it so badly right now. So, now is the perfect time to amp up our prayer practices and include the rest of the world in our prayers. I mean, the list is so long of people who are needing it. The whole it's not just a couple of countries that are having a revolution. This is an entire human revolution going on right now. The astrology that's been happening last year, this year, over the next couple of years, it is unlike anything that has happened in thousands of years. There are hundreds of year cycles starting over. There are thousands of year cycles starting over. There are things that have never all happened all at once before. Like, it's crazy. So this is literally impacting the entire planet. And all of us collectively together as a human species, I mean, we can all, like, it's obvious that there's something happening, and it's everywhere and everywhere across the whole globe. Like, no one is untouched. I mean, Antarctica has tariffs. So, even the penguins are feeling it. The retirement account for the penguins is questionable right now, but it is a good time to buy stock, Verizon stock. It is a decent price at the moment. So, that's the silver lining. I would point out, like, look at this, guys. So we have our new moon in Capricorn is Sunday, and that's going to be at 11:52 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be 1 Central time to, 1:52 Central time, and then 2:52 Eastern time, a.m. or in the afternoon. So it'll be like middle of the day. And that is in Capricorn. But like, look at all of the aspects happening, guys. Like all the way down this, and then also over here, a second column of all of these things going on. That is a lot. That is a lot happening, right? Some of these some days, it's like they're all like this. It's crazy. Like, here's an example of like a day that doesn't have as much going on, right? That's, we can deal with this. This isn't 2 columns. This isn't like we need 4 more pages to describe all of the planetary craziness that's going on right now, right? So if you're feeling like, ooh, if you're feeling the way my hair looks right now, you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all like freaking feeling a little bit threadbare at the moment. But it's okay. We're getting through this together. We are in it together. We're getting through it together. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh, the 2026 prediction series. I mean, I was just doing the workshop for the yearly overview, and I haven't started the journal questions yet, but I mean, they're already on my mind because I wrote them. But just the reading itself already in the first 2 weeks of January, we are living in the essence of all the messages coming through in that first reading. And I'm going back and listening to the astrological highlights, which there's so much going on there too. And then I'm getting into the journal questions this week. But you guys, let me know if you have gotten into any of the questions yet. I've seen some people commenting on the yearly overview, so I know some people are watching that, and I'm interested to see if you guys are like, oh my God, like, yes, this shit is already like going off, it's popping off. So I really loved my show flyer today for the, I'm having fun with the marketing on this year. I've been taking cultural iconic things from like movies and things that I love as a millennial and just ripping them off to use, to repurpose, to misappropriate my pop culture and use it for my own use for the 2026 prediction series. But today's like bootleg was of the movie Constantine, when Keanu Reeves, John Constantine, is like in the fresh hot pits of hell, and he's like approaching one of these like cities within hell, and everything is like an engulfed inferno, and he's just like kind of like straightening up his his collar. That's totally us this year. If you have the 2026 prediction series, you will be able to navigate the whatever fresh hell is served up daily a lot better, with a lot more grace. And there's also journal questions to go through to go with every reading, so that every step of the way you can take the work as deeply as you want, and you can really go back, do it again and again and again. But at least you'll have a monthly ritual and also a quarterly ritual, and you can go back and rewatch the quarterlies and the yearly, monthly if you feel so inclined. But I think it's a tool that you'll be able to use over and over and over again, going back to like reference things, going back and doing the journal work. But it will be a tool that can be with you to help you all year long, to help you fortify yourself and prepare for challenges, but also to sweep in and get some of the many opportunities this year too. So there's also a couple of spiritual themes that are unfolding over the year that keep coming up, and there's a rhythm to those too. So that is going to help you as well. All right, and that is $12. One-time purchase, no subscriptions, no selling a kidney for the rest of your life, locked in for a year or anything. It's just one time, $12, and you will get an email that has the link to the playlist that you will go to. And then your journal work will be in the description boxes underneath each video. It's very simple, very easy, very fun and exciting and helpful. All right, y'all, that is all for tonight. We will be back together tomorrow for our weekly manifestation oracle message. Until then, peace on earth, love in your hearts, goodwill towards all mankind.